Okay, now we're going to take a close look at the Paladin in the Red Dragon's Lair, Daphne. Daphne is our heroine for the game, one of the strongest characters in the game. Daphne has a speed of 6, a save of 6, and a health of 7. Speed is the number that you add to your roll when you're rolling for initiative at the beginning to find out which player is going to go first. You roll a 10-sided dice, you add her speed of 6 to it, and that will give you your total number, and then whoever has the highest number is going to be the player that goes first. Now Daphne has a melee attack. She deals 2 wounds with this attack if she hits her target. She needs a 7 or higher on the 10-sided dice in order to do that. So the 0 is a 10. Daphne has to have a 7 or higher in order to hit and deal this kind of damage. You're going to want to pull out her sword, her shield, and her armor. All of those will be equipped to Daphne. You're also going to want to take out her target card, which is the card that is used for randomly selecting who is being attacked by the monster. If you're playing the game solo, you'll also want to pull out her friend, Jack, and put him in play as well. Now, I also recommend if you're playing solo, or if you're playing for the first time, that in addition to taking the friend out, you flip Daphne over. The character flip cards are only available on our website when you buy the game. On the other side, you get a tougher Daphne. Her speed is still 6, her save is 6, but her health goes up to 10. But that's how you would want to set up if you were playing solo, or if you just never played before. The different icons make it a little easier to understand that that's speed, that's save, and that's health. Where the friends only have save and health. And the reason for that is because the friends will attack the same time Daphne does, as will allies. If you discover an ally while you're adventuring through one of the exploration decks and you come across an ally, you'll put the ally in play, and the ally only has a save and a health. And again, that's because they will actually attack when Daphne attacks. You can do it in any order. Daphne could attack, and then the ally, and then the friend, or the friend, and then the ally, and then Daphne. However you do it on your turn is totally up to you, but each will attack when Daphne would attack. Then once you have all the health counters on the characters, you draw 5 cards from your deck, and you're ready to play. Let's take a closer look at Daphne's equipment. Each character is allowed to have 3 pieces of equipment. While you're adventuring, you may come across equipment that you want to keep or you want Daphne to have. In order to equip the new equipment, you're going to have to get rid of something that Daphne currently has. Or you can carry the equipment in your hand. If you do that, that's going to reduce your hand size, because you're only allowed to have 5 cards in your hand. If one of those cards is a piece of equipment, then you have less options as you're playing. Let's say you come across the Dragon Breath sword, and you decide that you would rather have this sword instead of this sword. So you can remove this card from the game, just discard it away, and equip the new sword. Each friend or ally is also allowed to have 1 piece of equipment. So let's say that instead of removing this from the game, you want to give it to Jack. Well, you could do that, although it's not going to do Jack any good, because all of Jack's attacks are ranged, so he cannot use the melee weapon. So that would be pointless for Jack. would also be pointless for the ally because it is a magic attack. This weapon is also not going to work with this ally. If Daphne were to come across Staff of the Master, this is a magical weapon. This adds 2 to magic rolls. So this could be attached to my ally. And now my ally can use the Staff of the Master when the ally attacks. Let's take a closer look at Daphne's equipment. Daphne has a sword. It's a melee weapon. She has a melee attack. So if I wanted to use this attack, I would say I'm going to use Daphne's base attack with this weapon. This weapon will add 1 to my attack roll. So where this requires a 7 or higher, I would roll the dice and then add 1 to it. So if I were to roll a 6, by adding 1 from this weapon, it would make it a 7, and therefore I would make it a successful attack and deal 2 wounds. Daphne's shield. Daphne's shield, when being attacked, reduce the roll by 1. Anytime a monster attacks Daphne, whatever the monster gets, you would reduce the roll by 1. If the monster rolled an 8, you would change it to a 7. And finally, the Paladin armor. RFG, remove from game, is what RFG stands for. Remove from game to avoid any number of wounds. In the instance where Daphne is down to maybe just 1 or 2 health, and she is attacked by a monster, instead of her taking the damage the monster would have dealt, I can remove the armor from the game, and she would take no wounds. Let's take a look at what's in the Paladin's deck. What does Daphne have to help her out? Her attacks are pretty basic. When Daphne's going to attack, I'm going to use a card from my hand instead of using Daphne's base attack. Now, I don't have to do that, but in most cases, the cards in my hand are going to give me a benefit over the basic attack on the character's card. In this instance, playing Live by the Sword, Die by the Sword, I need to roll a 6 to deal 2 wounds. I'm going to use Daphne's sword and play this card. Therefore, I will also get to add 1 to my attack roll. Daphne has 2 Live by the Sword cards in her deck. Her next melee attack card is Are We Having Fun Yet? 2 targets, 2 wounds each. Now, I'll point out that this is 2 separate targets, not 1 target 2 times. If there is only 1 target, then I can only hit the 1 target. And she has 3 of those. Next, I Promise to Make Your Death Swift. Melee attack, 3 wounds. She's got 4 of those. If you draw a sword, be ready for a fight. Melee attack, 4 wounds. And she's got 3 of those. So those are the different attack cards that are available to Daphne. Now we look at her special cards. My Goddess Protects Me. Cure Daphne of any poison and heal 1 wound. Pretty straightforward. Now, because it doesn't have a red wax seal, there's no other requirement I need to meet. I can just play the card. Well, I owe you one. Special. Play when an adventurer deals wounds. Add 2 wounds. When playing this card, because of the red wax seal, I'm going to have to meet the condition of the card. Therefore, I can only play it when an adventurer deals wounds. And then I have to roll a 4 or higher. Now, you'll note that the card says special. It should say special attack, because this is an assist. And I can use my sword or any weapon that Daphne might be equipped with. So I can say, I'm going to play my special attack, play when an adventurer deals wounds, to add 2 wounds. And I'm going to use my sword, so I get to add 1 to my roll. making it a 4 or higher, then I hit. This will be my greatest performance special. Play when any adventurer is hit. That adventurer takes only 1 wound. No other requirements on the card, so I don't have to roll for it. The first time you pick up a sword, you become a target. Special. Play when any adventurer is hit. Daphne takes the wounds for them. Again, there's no red wax seal, so I can play the card anytime an adventurer is hit, and instead of them being wounded, Daphne will take the wounds instead. This is a great card to combine with the Paladin armor, because if another adventurer gets hit hard, I can play this card and then sack the Paladin armor, and Daphne won't take any damage either. If you run now, you'll be running forever. Special. Play instead of initiative roll to go first. So instead of rolling for initiative, I can play this card, no other requirements, and Daphne is going to go first for that encounter. You know where I'm headed, there'll be trouble. Special. Play before attacking. If successful, attack again. When an adventurer is hit, adventurer takes no wounds, but Daphne takes 1 wound. As you can see, Daphne's very defensive of her friends and allies, and the other characters. I need a volunteer. That means you. Special. When drawing from the loot deck, play to draw 2 cards, but return 1. So, I'll explain this card a little bit. Daphne has just slain a monster, and she gets to draw from the loot deck. So I play this special card, and instead of drawing 1 card, I get to draw 2 cards. But I have to put one of them back. That doesn't mean I can put it wherever I want. I can't put it on the bottom of the deck. I can't shuffle it back into the deck. I need to return it to the top of the deck. And that's a closer look at Daphne the Paladin for the Red Dragon's Lair.